Okay, good evening, Captain. It's nice to have you back in the office. How are you doing, sir?
Yeah, for a short time though. Yeah, but I'm doing very well. I'm
All
doing
right,
very well.
all
I'm a
right,
bit tired. It's been a long day.
all right.
It's been a long Friday, but yeah, we are almost at the tail end of it. So thank
Okay,
you.
okay.
How has been your day?
Fine, we're good. We're good. We're excited to see you back in the office. We're glad that you're here, and we know that big things, positive things are coming our way here in the office. Please, can you introduce yourself and give us a brief background for the benefit of those who may not know you?
But you know me now. We're in the office together. So okay, my name is Martin Savan.
Yeah.
I think I'm the former president of Rima Aviation as of today 3 p.m. That's when I
Wow.
signed my resignation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, also resigned as a director with Rima Nigeria Limited.
Wow.
However, maybe a little bit of a background about me. Yeah, I'm a captain and aviator with a little short of 2 decades of experience.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've been, apart from my entrepreneurship journey before that, I've been in a pilot flying in the airlines and then private charter and then, the private corporate sector. I flew for Eric Air and then a couple of charter companies, some in the UK, some here in Nigeria. Malef Aero out of the Isle of Man and TAC Aviation here, to mention a few. And then more recently, Zenith Bank under the chairmanship of Mr. Jim Ovia, flying the Gulfstreams 550. Corporate business can be quite international, and yeah, banking, had some operations out of Europe, America, and in the UK, so we're going around these places. And before that, a little bit before that, I delved into academics. Yeah, after completing my master's in aeronautics at the prestigious Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University.
Wow.
Yeah, just before now, coming back to resign, I've been lecturing in the UK as a guest lecturer with the University of Portsmouth, teaching aviation safety and security. So this is generally a little bit background about me, in addition to management of REMAT, which has been incorporated since 2000, and then we branched out into the aviation aspect of REMAT Nigeria Limited, incorporated in Baltimore, the city of Baltimore in Maryland.
Okay.
And then, some part of the REMAT conglomerate also incorporated in the UK, in London. The entrepreneurship journey in the private sector, I'm about to commence something else. So I put a hold to it for now. I want to go a little bit into public service.
Wow.
And we'll see how much contribution or change. I mean, this is a little bit of the background about me.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Okay. So the office was moody today on reception of the news of your resignation as president and from the board of directors of REMAT Aviation. Why are you leaving and why so abrupt, sir?
Yeah, there's no need to be moody. Yeah, so good. I just mentioned it. I'm leaving. I'm going into the private sector.
Yeah.
Leaving the private sector to go into the public sector. Sorry. So it's an honor for me leading such a great team. In this one of the subsidiaries of REMAT Nigeria Limited. That's the aviation side of it.
Yeah.
And there's no need to be moody. I'm always going to be available. I mean, the REMAT is incorporated since 2000. The agro section has been there. The technology section has been, all doing so well. Now the aviation, which we're going to continue, and structures are in place, to ensure that there's no vacuum of character, of leadership, of knowledge, so there's no need to be moody at all. You can extend those assurances, to the rest of our staff, our family, here we're a family team. So yeah, and then it's not that abrupt. I was rather honored, pleasantly, by the DG of NSIB, that's Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau, whom maybe if you've been seeing the news, you can recall sometime late last year, was appointed, under the administration of His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, to come, and take helm at the affairs of the NSIB. Yeah. He reached out to me a couple of times while I was in the UK, and identified me as one of the resources that he feels would be able to contribute, and to his vision and the direction he wants to take the bureau. So I had to honor his. This is a stellar character we're talking about. Captain Alex Bade Jr. I've been privileged to know him for quite a while now. We were both pilots in Arik Air over 10 years back, and then we've always somehow been in touch and abreast of each other's growth in the industry. After a while, flying here in Nigeria, he's gone on multi-award-winning safety pilot. He has been. And then he went on to the US as well, and continued his exploit at the American Eagle. We used to just be in touch. Sometimes we talk, and then he's just about to depart for the airport, report for duty, and also. And then when I'm in the US, a couple of times we've met up. When I was trying to finish up my master's at the Embirido, he was also supportive. We didn't envisage that it would be like this, but so knowing of the quality of his leadership and the safety standards that he stands for, and when this came true, and I saw in the news, I was like, okay, there's been quite some development and improvement in that sector, since the transformation of the Bureau from an Air Accident Investigation Bureau, was the AIB, which covered aviation accidents investigations, to the Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau, to become multimodal, according to Official Gazette of the 1st of November in 2022. So, the Act came into being in 2022 as amended, creating the NSIB, and now expanding its scope, of safety from just and investigations, rather, from just aviation, to all modes of transport, including marine, rail, road transport, all modes of transport. If you're on a donkey in this day, or on a horse, you understand. Be rest assured the NSIB is looking out for your safety. So it was little wonder. There is no hiding place for a golden fish. His qualities have shown through the years. So as we know, I've been back and forth. Sometimes I'm in the when I'm not lecturing in the UK or flying somewhere around the globe, I'm back here in the office, either here or in London or in Baltimore. As it's a very fluid role I've had due to the international structure of our company. But when we were in touch, it wasn't such a difficult decision, knowing who he is, that yes, this is somebody that would lead not only in the right direction, not only build on the achievements of the AIB, but if there was such a time that we would transform our safety structures. As I have been teaching and lecturing, at the universities or at seminars, discussing with other people. I mean, it's a keen interest of mine, and we've shared this interest, for a while now. From even being in department of, in the safety department at airline level or in ARIC, with very high standards of SMS, safety management system, which, I mean, in past interviews, you see that's what has propelled me to go on to further study, like, about aviation safety. At the level that, I decided. So, I mean, so it's not an abrupt decision. Once he's been in contact with me sometime in January about when he assumed office, and listen, I mean, initially he started like, Martin's like, we can't afford you, but this is, what we need. So he kind of like, would you be able to serve your fatherland, I won't call that blackmail, but that's my patriotism was kind of stimulated, and I've always talked about it in class, and I felt like, well, if I'm this passionate about it, and I'm academic about it, why not come and now support in the change, because I mean, where my strengths are, it's an area that will add to his overall strength, I mean, and the change will be far-reaching, be immersive. In fact, it benefits me more, relatives of mine, will be safer on the roads, will be safer by rail, will be safer in the air, maritime transport. So it's not abrupt, and I'm transitioning because I can bring this kind of value at this point in time there. So once the decision was made, on the management level, we've been putting in some structures. I mean, there's been a lot of hires which you'll be seeing at a very high level that would replace some of the multi tasks I used to do in that area besides the management, being an aviator. So we understand at management level, and we've broken it down to a couple of roles, which we're just waiting for me to exit. And as you can see, I cleared my desk before you came
Obviously.
in. I'll be able to just take my tablet when we're done here, and then you people would be in very good hands. But I'm very much there, The transition is not going to be, so everything won't be done overnight. I just based on regulation, as I was accepting the offer, I had to coincide with one is acceptance of my offer of appointment at the NSIB, and then one is the acceptance of my resignation from the board of directors at REMAT. So just to keep everything tidy, I had to do it, and then transitionally, I would be there to support. When is the person that takes over for me to this particular role? If it's anything to sign over, if the handover officially is done, but the role, I'll be there to support in enlightening in things. Could it be some of our trainings, how they were designed, all of the contacts. I mean, a very deliberate handover has been prepared. So, you guys have nothing to worry about. It's going to be business as usual at REMAT,
All right. We are confident in everything that you have said, and this is a welcome development. We thank you. So, what is the direction of REMAT Aviation going forward in replacing a leader like you?
I mean, I just already maybe hinted about that. I'm positive that with the structures, REMAT Nigeria, the parent company as a whole, put in place. You understand? There's another astute aviator, who has lots of experience, maybe a bit more commercial experience, but that's good, because they will bring their own fresh ideas and expertise, to push forward a more like profitable agenda. Whereas I felt some of my weaknesses in that management role was impeding you guys on the culture and the core of safety, which was in me. Everything, was like, oh, are we,
Yes.
I mean, there are some maybe charters you would turn down because we're not very sure of the maintenance program of that. And I've made it categorically clear that this is where we've built our foundation. And so that's where, I recommended to the board to continue. But, maybe there are a bit more daring people that, that's one of the person. And then you have a new business development manager as well, joining in that capacity to share some of, the roles. And somebody else has been another director that's coming on board would, manage HR and be more efficient, with structures where maybe I would have lacked. But I think I've left a very good foundation and to be built on. So remember, the vision is in safe hands. The board there were a series of meetings. There are board resolutions that maybe you people would not know, but on the management level has had it covered adequately. Even with the subsidiary offices of ours, maybe in Baltimore and in London as well, things are on the same page to cover my roles adequately.
Okay, Thank you for that. Okay, so Sam, what are you hoping to achieve at NSIB?
Yeah,
let me ask.
at NSIB, my hope is, that my leader succeeds. His vision and his dream actually is already is stellar. It stands out, and that is the reason why. He's not a lip service person, and he's not the one. He's a person of few words. We are more about action. The word safety has been thrown around carelessly a lot to just get trust. Could it be airlines? Could it be transport sector, like a road? Everybody just said, no, the bus is safe. Oh, no. So, but here is somebody that comes with action. So, his core, values align with mine when it comes to safety. So, I'm looking to support him in the role that he has made me. He's made me the technical advisor on transport safety.
Wow.
Now, this is transport safety is huge, Yeah. So I would, what I'm hoping to, is to have the guidance, the wisdom, backed with the knowledge, that God has helped me to attain, to be able to advise him, in the right direction on the technical things.
Yes.
It's quite straightforward, but you have to adapt yourself into your environment. So adapting ourselves into our environment may be the challenging part.
Yes.
Otherwise, it's very straightforward. When I went to take I became like a resident in the UK, and I was taking a driving license exam. I took it the first time. I didn't pass. I was just at the threshold, but I had lectures to prepare. I had, emails back and forth, remote. I had the trip to go to Baltimore for our AGM. And then, to review our performance and, go through our auditors. So I kind of rushed it, so I went through their books. They swim, the traffic code is there. And, but I was okay, as an experienced student,
yes,
that has developed study skills, let me just wing it. And I went through, and I went to the exam, and he told me that no, this is not, yeah. So I knew that, being this close meant no. You listen, you have to cover every aspect of it. But I went do, don't just go do a lot of research, come back or finish that business I had, focus on it.
Yes.
Took the time, studied it. What you think you already know,
Yes.
being a driver already licensed in other countries and all that stuff.
Yes.
And then eventually, when I did take an exam again, I was successful. So you see, and then you could see all of the road markings. You can see the traffic signs. You can see how the structures for the traffic lights are working and all. And it's not, as you go through the preparation for the exam, you see why you would be more careful. Vulnerable road users, all the pedestrians, all the, it becomes a culture. There's that consideration. Nobody is in a hurry. Even if the light is green, they'll stop and wait for the pedestrian. They'll wait to even see the pedestrians attempting to to cross the road. Once you get, and the pedestrians are also not arbitrarily crossing. They are crossing at the zebra, crossing the mark, and it's cultural.
Yes.
And then in our parks, they could tell you that, you will be zebra or go jam you or something like that. So there are small things, but go around and take the statistics. They cause these accidents, and our people are dying by their numbers due to just an absence, of these safety structures, which Captain Alex Bade is profoundly intent on. He said he's going to be proactive. Where we're coming from, before the Gazette, the Act, changed the AIB. It was about investigation. Now we're still, Nigerian Safety Investigation Board, but Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau. But his approach is proactive prevention of accidents. Which is part of the mandate of not just wait for it to happen. And in his own words, he always says, "You think accident prevention is expensive? Then try the crisis, try the accidents themselves." And then he's very. He sold me his dream, and I bought it in entirely. So I've come to support him, wholeheartedly with all of my technical. And his humility is more than appealing. He was like, my captain, you went and did this in at radio. I didn't go to radio, and then he gives you so much credit. But when you come close to him, just about a few days as we were doing the structures of my onboarding, and I'm seeing him handle things in the office, and his humility, like we are captains and friends, and how we were before and everything. But when you come in, and then you see the wisdom with which he's handling things, and you see that, I lack this knowledge in as experienced and knowledgeable as I am in other sectors and in the private sector.
Yes,
I lack this kind of knowledge or skill in management in the public sector. Which he's, and also when I bought into his dream, he's talking about, apart from being proactive, he wants collaboration with interagencies. If you're going to develop, that's what's happening. There's an incident, 4 or 5 agencies show up. They are struggling on who will take responsibility. Not an absence of any agency or nobody taking responsibility, So you see, no, this is a federal building. This happened, so we will be here. He said, no, it's a federal building, but this happened at the time that the state event was.
Yes.
The agencies are there, and they have the first responders. They are on site.
Yes.
And before, even if something gets to that crisis level, there was still agencies taking responsibility to prevent it, which we even see as you drive through. You could be in the West, you could be in the UK. You're not seeing any cops carrying guns and all that, and yet the crime is so minimal. The accidents on the road are so minimal. The air crashes, or the sabotage in aviation, which always is a calamity if it happens, is minimal because there's proactive surveillance, security. Integrated with safety,
Yes.
Safety is nothing without security anyway, So, yes. This is where what he's looking to achieve, and collaborating with other agencies, and he's big on transparency and accountability, promotion of safety awareness. Some of these things are basic, you would think, but by the time you have reached, this awareness goes to the people that need it.
Yes.
Even if it's just in the motor parks, if it's the people that are going to board marine vessels, just what to look out for. This, or bringing, So we're not enforcers, at the NSIB. I will encourage everybody, all Nigerians, let's take interest in our safety. Go and pull up the official gazette of the act, that created the NSIB, and you read of the responsibilities, so you will see there's actually an agency there that does this, and there's an app, you could download it on your Google Play Store,
yes.
But I can say that there's been not enough publicity, so I don't want to go into stats that I don't have a research about, but I can comfortably say, a larger number or percentage of the populace don't even know that it exists. Wow. So rather than an accident is there, you're taking pictures for social media, take these pictures for this app. And then there is somebody to look at it on the back end. And these are the things that we are going to do. There are simple things, simple solutions that we're going to put in place, And the DG has, in my onboarding, really listen, as technical advisor, I'm counting on you, everything technical, and I'm glad for that because my skill in other areas, like I mentioned to you in public service,
Yes.
it's not, they have not been in public service before,
Yes.
but, I know what works in safety, and then the standards of safety in an aviation environment are at the highest level. So what we're looking to do is to superimpose the standards of safety, in aviation, on maritime transport, on rail transport, and on road transport.
Wow, this is very commendable, and I pray that God guides you and gives you strength and the willpower to achieve all of this. You have been very proactive in development in the area of safety, and you have translated that culture into Raymark's work ethic. How can this structure still remain unscathed even after you have left as president of the organization?
Yeah, thank you very much. Brown, I want to allay your fears. Safety is basic work, but it's painstaking work.
Okay.
So that's when you call into question your project management skills. So ab initio, before we achieve these structures, we were planning structures, planning gates, planning checks and balances into the fabric to ensure that like you said, when we arrive there, after this painstaking work has been done, then it stays. People say it's easy to pull down or destroy. It's difficult to build. So I dare say that if we don't learn from the experience of these people that came up with this saying, then we have failed. If we've learned from the experiences that it's actually easy to pull down, then we might as well fight when we build to make it difficult to pull down. You would agree with me that if a building is built with just block work, a bulldozer will have an easier time raising it down. However, if you went with reinforced concrete and you casted the building all around,
Yes.
and then you as well use reinforced concrete to cast the roof, then if it were a one-day job for the bulldozer to take it down, it would probably need 10 bigger bulldozers and a couple of days to do that, right? So that is what we have done. That's what we'll be able to achieve. As we have in various manuals and in our structures and in the trainings that we've designed, for our company, and even for pilots, for engineers that come through. When we go to these meetings and we sit with these other training organizations, they're happy because, wow, some things that they didn't even plan, we bring our own training programs and manuals, and they are integrated in it. And we check that, this gate, this security feature, how are you going to ensure that, it stays in place? And like you rightly says, that has become cultural for us. So it's not going to be easy to pull down any day. You have to deliberately go and unwrite those. Go back to our training partners,
Yes.
and be them flight safety, be them CAE for the engineering trainings, and we've put extra training requirements inside based on the training, the environment of the operating persons. We believe firmly that it can be generic. So when they have, you can't re-engineer the wheel, but you can adapt it. If you can use various alloys to make different wheels, depending on a planned type of road structure you're going to use it on. Are you going to use it on tar, on concrete? If you go to other parts of the world where they have different types of weather, they could take off these tires, and with different tread depths. Yes. For winter, for driving on icy roads and all that, and then put different sets of tires for summer. When you go to some parts, because of torrential rains and all that, the runways are grooved, such that and maintained as aircrafts are landing and the rubber is coming off gradually from the tires
Yes.
and it's closing the grooves.
Yes.
They have periodical maintenance they come into. So these are safety structures that are applicable in other parts that you may not see in our parts because we don't have that kind of, we don't need to like, when we talk about grooving, roads, even driving roads, apart from runways for and even waterways where there is like storms and different there are things put in place. Maybe there's more surveillance, there's more rescue ships in closer vicinity and things like this. So these structures have been put in based on the training programs that we have for the training environment that we are training people to, and they've come to stay. So you won't change the winning formula. I mean, this was not done out of ingenuity on myself alone. These are things that the board, various presentations. We've had very hardworking staff like Samuel Nambati I was mentioned. Yourself here, and James. These are all people. I'll miss working with, and then our our support organizations that have been the Creatify and all, which have bought into our work structure and have ensured so creating these programs have been one thing, and the structures are in place, and I mean that ties it into the ideas of why my boss, the DG of the NSIB, Captain Alex Badi Jr. identified, and he was in all humility, almost like, listen, you guys, you have this, why would you not do it for your people? Let's do this for our people, Well, we're not going to just sit there. Apart from interagency, collaborations, we are going to find a way to monitor compliance of these recommendations that we're going to make to the regulating agencies. How well are you, doing this? So it's the same thing that we've done. I mean, now look at that. REMAT, we've had that kind of culture, that kind of capacity to write this kind of trainings, to write this, manuals. It's not a one like the team I've mentioned here. Our team over there in Baltimore, with Rachel and all the other staff that work in that department of writing, these manuals. I mean, we've now come to be identified. So it's not just been a meeting. You don't just realize that it's been all the teamwork, including yourself here, that has gotten us there.
Yes.
So taking me out, and I'm not, I'm not going too far. I'm still there. Anytime I see that there is a need to, there's an upgrade that I can, I'll definitely. Why? I mean, it even gives us more. Charity begins at home. Yes. From the NSB, we'll be writing to you to as an aviation agency firm, and your charter side. Yes. On your aircraft operating with pilots and all that. How about your own road safety as you drive back and forth to work? When you travel to Kaduna and the other places by train, when you're in Lagos and you're taking, the metro or the intracity trains and all that, will be synthesizing you. This is what the DG is looking at. He feels the education is paramount.
Yes.
He wants the agency to be an education partner, with all the other agencies and with all our people, to be out there to everybody, to not, we won't lose lives anymore for lack of education. I mean, if we are lacking in safety in other areas, let it be because we don't have that infrastructure as a growing economy. But we would get there. But what we have so far, I mean, we will not we will not relapse in any capacity. So that safety structure which you've identified and the standards which we have are not rather we're hoping and looking at replicating the same thing on a wider scale. It's just like when you are doing maths in secondary school and they give you the very simple examples, but when the exam comes, very challenging questions, Yes. But at the end we solve them, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So let's go out and apply it, on the larger scale. And we're not just hoping, we're confident, that REMAT will remain a telling example of where you can, build such structures and put in place, that safety, you know, infrastructure that will stand. We're counting on you guys to continue with the good work,
Definitely.
and be an ambassador of the safety sermon we preach in all, now not just in aviation, but in all other modes of transport as well.
Okay. Thank you very much, Captain, for that very warm address. The last question here is, can you leave a message for our staff and clientele?
Yeah.
Like a farewell message, or so to speak. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for my team here, you will always be, my team, and then I'm just a phone call away. Now I'm very busy under the instruction of, now I have a boss, so I may not take a call instantly like I used to, and all that, but leave me a message, and we're working together.
Yes.
We want to spread safety. We want to make it. If anything should be endemic, it should be the culture of safety. Let everybody be aware of it. Let it be, with the vision of the DG, is to make safety the culture, a national culture, in Nigeria. So when you are stepping, just like it was when we were growing up, say look left, look right, look left again before you cross. Those simple things. I mean, we are going to go back to them and add other structures, as the development. I mean, he's keen on using the technological advancements that we have around the world, to apply it to our environment. So this is what we're going to be doing. So I'm calling on all of our staff, just continue with, because it's out of your example that we'll be able to build here, that there's this recognition that, oh wow, with what you'll be able to achieve in your own organization and in your own personal development. We need that kind of contributions to this vision of the ND. So that's the message to the staff. Just keep at it. You don't change the winning formula. We are operate because our standards are, we don't change our standards when we are in US. We don't change when we're in the Baltimore office. We don't change when we're in London or when we're in the Abuja office and other offices that Remat is going ahead and expanding to open. Because of that very high level of, not just lip service about international best practices. We have actually set, an international structure that applies in everywhere, because we look at what are the requirements of, operating here, or the safety here and all that, and then we make it uniform. So let's keep at it, okay. And the sky will just be the starting point, for Remat Aviation. You encounter, other transitions in the future, with, leaders and staff and all that will come with even bigger ideas, because for our stage where we were, what we needed to implant, and now it has grown a bit. You had another stage of nurturing, or pruning, the tree, so to speak, to go in the direction we want. And so, I mean, you have everything that you need, Maybe my time, maybe I have even I'll spend my useful now. It could be, so let's apply it where it's needed, Everybody here is so safety conscious, operates with all of this in mind, We all drive to work. We hardly engage. We hardly have an accident, somebody coming through, because we have applied that safety culture that we have in aviation to our life. We are we're not waiting that because we have to take an exam in China. Sam, for instance, brings his, driving safety culture of how 1 million cars are on the road at the same time in China. And he brought that, to drive like that, and to and then you may not know, but just because some assignments is going with another staff and they leave their own car, or they're not using the company car, they observe how, and it rubbed off them. You understand? And that's why we have come to this level of safety consciousness in everything that we do. So we're already here. And then there are people that are not even aware that I should look left or look right before I cross.
True.
And so they can't they can't give it to their children. They can't even tell their children. And some of those children are not even in school, So we have to go out there, And I mean, you are at a very good level, I mean, yeah, an excellent level, relative to the kind of environment we find ourselves. And we're going to go out there and try and, replicate that under the vision of the DG of the NSIB, Captain Alex Bade Jr.
All right. Thank you very much, Captain Martin Nsah, for taking out time from your busy schedule to grant us this interview here in the office. We are really glad, and we won't say we're going to miss you because we know we're going to be with you. So thank you very much once again, sir.
Yeah.
May God bless you. May God bless NSIB, and may God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Thank you so much, man. Yeah. Thank you so much, man. Have a good day.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, cheers. Right. I can pack up my desk now, right?
Yes, sure.